Welcome! This is the third video in this series, and today I'll be talking about what shadowed parts are and how you can shine a light on your shadowed parts through honest self-inquiry work, how you can bring freedom and internal clarity into your life, to begin to unearth your buried gifts. These gifts are pure gold for your evolution, for your relationships, and for the world as a whole. When you embody self-honesty, you will create a youthful lightness that others can feel. This lightness is your true essence, made available for others to interact with. And this is true youthfulness that superficial outsides can only hold a candle to. So let's get started. Shadowed parts are aspects of your mind that get pushed under and hidden from both yourself and others. Simply put, shadowed parts are aspects of your subconscious, that for one reason or another became hidden from your view. Usually the pushing under aspects of yourself begins in childhood and continues by peers, colleagues, and even the media. And these aspects of yourself are important parts of your mental makeup. And while on the surface they seem best to stay hidden, they actually hold great stores of energy and gifts within. These aspects of yourself are hidden by your ego because your ego is trying to protect you from the hurt of your past. But in reality, they are part of your true self, your true essence, and when accepted, they contain many gifts for your life. Many of the best parts of you have been hidden away and are pushing to come out and be known. You can find your sacred self by bringing into the light these gifts hidden within. I like to call this uncovering the gold. There's a story from the 1950s from Thailand. A huge clay Buddha statue began to crack, and the monks got flashlights and they began looking inside the cracks to see what was under the clay or if the statue was simply falling apart. What they discovered under the clay was beautiful and became a metaphor for doing the work to find our gold. What they found was a solid, pure gold statue. The monks learned that it had been covered with many layers of clay around 600 years ago to protect it from an invading army, and this gold statue had been hidden away for all of those years. This gold statue has become a metaphor for during childhood and continuing into adulthood, we cover aspects of ourselves with layers of defense to protect against the most precious aspects of who our essence is. This protection occurs to stop being hurt by others, and once we are in adulthood and have a solid standing, we no longer need this protection. Imagine this. You cover your most tender aspects of yourself. You cover what is most precious about you and hide your gifts from the world. And I ask you, are you ready to uncover the gold that is under layers of clay? To uncover the essence of you that's hidden under layers of protective defenses? Carl Jung is the psychologist who coined the term shadowed parts, and he emphasized ways to integrate our shadows into our mental makeup. Here are some valuable quotes from Carl Jung. Quote, "Our shadow is the gateway to our true selves. The shadow is the parts of us that we must embrace to find true balance. To truly know ourselves, we must first explore our shadow. The shadow is to the yin to our yang, the darkness to our light. The shadow is the keeper of our hidden potential. The darkest moments often reveal our brightest light. Understanding our shadow is the first step towards self-acceptance." There are many more great Jungian quotes that I may just do a video on just them. The more you can accept your entire self, the more whole you become, and the more love you will have for yourself. And this opens the door to truly loving others without needing them to be different. This is true unconditional love for yourself and others. You may be asking, what about the parts of people that want to hurt others? They want revenge. We don't want to accept those parts and condone hurting others, do we? So the reality is, it's actually not accepting those parts that causes them to pop out and hurt others. Inquiring honestly into your mental makeup and accepting the truth of you is how you begin to work with these parts and to make sense of them, looking straight at them It's how you learn why they're a part of you and working with them so that they don't pop out and unexpectedly hurt others or yourself. So this does seem a bit contradictory. However, truth, it's always the way. Truth within yourself, truth with others. Truth and especially self-honesty is the key to healing yourself and the world and to no longer be hurting others. One more Jungian quote, "In the darkness of our shadow, we find the light of our true selves. Your true self fully expressing will never hurt another. It's always separation from ourselves that allows people to hurt another. Only when you look honestly at your shortcomings can you face them and change what needs to be changed." Let's say someone has a part of themselves that lies. Not facing that they lie is what keeps the lies going. Rather, looking straight at their tendency to lie is the way to take accountability and stop the lying. Looking away from unwanted behavior only increases it. Avoidance only pushes things under and allows unwanted behavior just to continue. In the book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, by Debbie Ford, she states the concept of shadowed parts are aspects of our psyche that are unowned and unknown. This gives the ability to talk about and bring into the light parts that our ego wants to keep hidden away tightly in a corner of our minds. This comes from this book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. It's a small book. It's a beautiful book. It's very well worth getting and reading, and I will have it in the link. I will have the link in the description. And this is so beautiful because self-inquiry with radical honesty is the key to finding your true self. And this reveals a lightness of soul. And this lightness helps you to grow young from within, to have inner clarity and outer grace. Hiding parts of yourself first started during childhood, and then family and society continues this process, where your mind is developing an idealized version of you. And this version is reinforced by family and community from what they want you to be so they can feel better about themselves, and what you want you to be so you can feel better about yourself too. Often family and community reinforce this ideal version of you because they are attempting to deal with their own shadow selves. The way to alleviate stress over one's shadow parts, this is an unhealthy way, that is to seek to shut down parts of others, especially kids. And this is what happens a lot during childhood. You will activate in others what you're not accepting in yourself, so you don't activate your own shadow parts. See how this cycle of pain and control keeps circling around and around? It's resistance to what is true that causes pain and dysfunction. Acceptance becomes nectar to your soul and is the way to wholeness, is the way to true freedom. One quite popular way to keep shadows hidden is through projection and blaming. Projection is where you project your bad quality onto another. For example, people can turn their eye towards others they deem as, quote, toxic, unquote. I'm not a fan of the word toxic, that it's an overused word, but I'll use it for this purpose. And they never see that they themselves are blaming, having disdain towards, and overall talking bad about the other's character. And this causes they themselves to have dysfunctional or toxic behaviors, the very behaviors they're blaming others for. Another example is that some people gossip about people who they see as gossipers, and they never realize that they themselves are doing the gossiping as they're gossiping about the people that are gossiping. We do a lot in this world to deceive ourselves. Our minds are very complicated and very creative. When you see how people are interacting with each other's shadows, you begin to see how people are only bringing out into the open a small percentage of themselves and not their whole selves. This becomes a loop of reinforcement, and you can begin to understand how people begin to feed off of one another, with each reacting to each other's hidden parts. This is one reason relationships are challenging in life. For example, one person does not want the other person, let's say their partner or child, to show weakness, because this brings out the shadow of weakness that they themselves have. They may have anger or even disgust or disdain towards the other person, but it's really disgust or disdain at one's own unacknowledged parts that's happening here, the parts that they feel weak and scared about. Perhaps showing weakness as a child brought a shaming or beating by an adult. And this adult would be pushing their own shame down by doing that. See how this cycle keeps going around and around? When one person in a relationship works on their shadow parts and brings them out into the open, this changes the dynamics in the relationship for both people, which is really good news. And much healing can occur by only one person changing and growing, by being willing to do honest self-inquiry work. Doing shadow work is one of the best things you can do for healthier relationships, because we want to be loving people who don't react. But when there are hidden parts popping out unexpectedly, causing damage, all desire to be loving often goes out the window. But this is not limited to hiding negative aspects. A positive aspect can be when someone looks up to another who is a great speaker and they disavow their own abilities. It's likely somewhere along the way they began hiding themselves and their own speaking qualities. Perhaps they were told that they talk too much or too loud, or they are a, quote, know-it-all, unquote. And so then this person begins hiding the gifts their voice holds. And they don't see the gifts in themselves any longer, and they have no idea that they're gifted in this way. It's super common for people to have deep gifts within and to not express these gifts because they simply do not see them. People have a tendency to see gifts in others and not themselves. One of the hardest things in life is learning how to accept, how to appreciate, and how to bring out your gifts into the world. To look at your defenses is not for the faint of heart. To allow your essence to surface takes strength and courage. I invite you to take the courageous step and look inside with the metaphorical flashlight and find what's hidden. This self-inquiry is the key to this world healing and moving forward into honesty. We are entering a truth era, and especially self-honesty, self-inquiry as the foundation of worldwide clarity. People all over the world are searching for truth, searching for clarity. The truth begins with you. Looking inside and rooting out even the tiniest of self-deceptions ripples out in an energetic way. Healing this world begins with you. Don't wait for other people to do this work. Your impact on this world is just as valuable as anyone else's. Debbie Ford coins positive traits that are hidden away as light shadows. These are the aspects about you that are good and helpful, but have been buried deep inside. Aspects such as power, intelligence, loving, kindness. Your authentic self is always pushing to come out and be known. Imagine if everyone owned their true selves. I invite you to know your value, and that bringing yourself out into the light will make you a lighter being as your energies and gifts are freed. An exciting part of my channel is that I will be covering in future videos extensively various modalities, podcasters, books, and more for bringing your shadows out into the light and learning their gifts. They are fun, engaging, and most are creative in nature, which is understandable because we are looking to bring the subconscious out into the light, and the subconscious works in images and metaphors. These modalities help to embrace your whole self and to know and embrace your essence. Working to bring these shadowed parts out into the open for wholeness, for clarity, and for the truth of you. A light from within will be revealed from doing this work of self-inquiry and deep honesty, and people will be drawn to your inner clarity and outer grace. The good news is that facing your shadow parts and bringing them out into the light allows for a new type of lightness that begins to shine from deep within. When a shadow is embraced, only then can we begin to heal it. In the I Ching, it is written in hexagon 5, and I will put a link to the I Ching in the description. Quote, "It is only when we have the courage to face things exactly as they are, without any self-deception or illusion, that a light will develop out of events by which the path to success may be recognized." Unquote. Welcome, my name is Sam Mariah, and welcome to Ageless Soul, a place where we grow young from within, where inner clarity brings outer grace, no matter your age. I would be honored to have you as a subscriber if it feels right to you. Here's the reality. What is real and alive inside of you will pop up at inconvenient times. It's like trying to hold a balloon under the water and cause damage to both you and to others. Shadowed parts want to be known and are constantly seeking to be heard and seen. This is because it's already the truth inside of you, and no amount of wishing it otherwise will change that. Denying the truth of you, both positive and negative qualities, is destructive to your soul, is destructive to the world at large. Focus your attention on you, right where it belongs, in the only place you have power, with yourself. I want to thank you for being here, and I invite you to click right up there on the right to watch a video on the different modalities to uncover your shadow sides. There are many fun, creative, and engaging modalities, and more are being added each day. We are in an era of truth, and it's popping out everywhere. Always take care. Know that you are loved, and then I will see you in the next video.